Yeah, I want to thank Mr. Mendez because I wanted him on the show to bring his perspective and questions from the Hispanic community. And I wanted him to know that his organization, we're going to get him on one of the shows. But also, I need the public to know that Mr. Bunning was just not pulled out of a hat.
Yeah.
He went through a long list of candidates, and he came out on top. And personally, I think we made a great choice. I want him to know that, and I can't express my thanks enough for him taking time. I know it's a busy schedule, things are hectic, but I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Well, thank you.
And there was a question that we were going to ask, and I think Pastor almost answered it when he said, because we wanted to know how were you qualified for this job, and I think he answered it by saying, but I'm going to let you tell us how you were qualified.
Well, I'll give you a little bit
job.
about my history. I started practicing law in Houston. I went to South Texas College of Law, and after that I went into private practice, and as I told you before, I did take court appointments and did criminal defense, but after that I became an assistant federal public defender in Beaumont, which is the Eastern District of Texas. I was then hired to open a federal public defender office in the Southern District of Alabama in Mobile. And so I did kind of what I'm doing here. I staffed an office and managed it for a number of years, and then I was chosen to open federal public defender offices in northern New York, which was Albany, Syracuse, Binghamton, Utica, and the District of Vermont. And I did that for the last 12 years. So the last 20 years I've been in federal practice pretty much all the time. But I had the background in opening and running offices, and I think that's what attracted the board when I came and gave my credentials to them.
That's good. Mr. Mendez, with your group, you say you are a networking group of professionals out there. For those people the listeners out there who don't know, how would they get to you if they needed information about your group?
Let me tell you a little bit of more in-depth detail of NHPO. What we do is, in addition to the networking, which is every month, we provide classes so that professionals become effective board members for nonprofit organizations. And it doesn't necessarily have to be nonprofits here in Houston. It can be anywhere. And so they're put into a class. It's a whole semester course. It's on all day Saturdays, so from January to May. That's one semester. And if you choose, you can go to a second semester, which is from August to December. So this whole time, you're learning about how to run effective board meetings, how to start a nonprofit, how to manage your monies, how to deal with the press, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So all the tools that are necessary to be effective, you learn from the class. And by the way, it's a non-credit course, so we do teach it at HCC, and it's taught by different instructors. Every Saturday we have a different professor that comes in and teaches their subject matter. So it's not people off the street are teaching. I mean, these are real legit professors. Okay, and so I'm very proud of the fact that we are on our 5th class now, and every class has about 30 students more or less. And what we try to do is place these individuals, if they're not already on board, so we try to place them somewhere. So, and we have a great track record. Our sponsors are very happy with our success, and they've been with us since day one. And the other thing that we do is the networking part. We have what would I call a happy hour or networking event once a month. It's every first Thursday of the month. And they can go to our website. It's nhpo.us for information on the events that we have. But don't be misled just because it's a National Hispanic Professional Organization. We do take any and all people, regardless of race. And we're a very diverse group. I would say that the majority of professionals in our group are between the ages of 35 to 55. Okay, but just because you're 18 doesn't exclude you. We encourage you to come in because we need to develop those young leaders.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's ballpark figure of what we do.
Okay. Good to have you. That's good to know, and I'm sure our listeners out there could be that 18-year-old or that 20-year-old out there that would like to get involved and want to network and learn more, and that's good to know that there is an organization out there that they can join.
One other thing that I forgot to mention is that we do have a youth group as well. And so the parents that are involved in this organization, we encourage them to bring their kids to, they have their own meetings, and they have their own fundraisers and their own events. Like they get involved with the parades that we have in here in Houston and so forth. And so it encourages the kids to give back to the community. You know, it's all about community service and learning to give to others. And like I said before, I'm very happy that you're here because we're so large, we get a lot of the phone calls that I mentioned earlier. And so it's great to have resources. Our organization is very, very well connected. I mean, from the politics to the community, you name it, we're connected. So if there's one way that we can help people, it's by connecting them to people that can help them.
Exactly, and Mr. Bunyan would be one that you would want to connect them to, with him being here. I'm sure your job here is it was so needed. We needed it here since we're so large of a city and we didn't have one. So you were definitely needed here, and now that you're here and you're up and running, I need for you to let people know, how do they even get to you? I mean, other than the court, I know that the court appoints you to them, but if they needed to just call and talk with you,
well, again,
or someone from your office.
We're a department of Harris County, so if you go to the Harris County website, our contact information is there, and we will, you know, on my things to do list is our own website where we'll have information, and we're not just a service to the people that are charged or families, we're also a service to the bar. The members of the bar that practice criminal defense law, that are assigned counsel, because we're not replacing all the assigned counsel. There's still going to be lots and lots of lawyers who will be assigned to these cases, and hopefully they'll be the best of those lawyers doing that work. And what we're going to do is we're going to be a resource to them of information, case law, training, to help raise their standards, but also by working with them, they'll help raise our standards too. So everyone benefits, and we hope to be a resource for everybody.
I have a question for you, if you don't mind. You know, one of the things that we've been talking about in these town hall meetings that we've been having recently is about diversity. And we encourage you to have a very diverse staff. I think it's very important.
I think if you were to come to the office now, you would find that's true.
That's great.
We try to represent all members of the community. You would certainly be able to, while my Spanish is muy malo, you would be able to speak to anyone in Spanish at my office. I think you would have no trouble. So
well, that's good. That's good.
That's important, because I wanted Mr. Mendez because I was hoping he would ask that. And one of the things that lawyers, they some of them have a fear of you, because they think you come to take the work away from them, and you explain.
I think there was some skepticism, but some of those lawyers I knew, and when I showed up, they said, "Oh, it's you, okay." It's not. They were a little less afraid of the system, and also when we explained that we're not taking away all their business, I think a lot of them are much more comfortable with it.
So you're telling me that the checks stopped going to the judges' campaigns?
I think that stopped. Actually, I think that stopped a while back. The perception is there, and that's the problem. I don't think there's as much patronage as people think these days, but the perception is there, and I think this will help get rid of the perception that judges favor particular lawyers.
That's good. That's good. So now I've got another avenue. It's not just a court-appointed lawyer. I've got the Harris County Public Defender's Office here in Harris County. So if I'm looking out, if I'm the citizen sitting out there, I'm going, well, wow, now I've got some more help here. If I need you, I've got some more help there, and that's a good feeling. That's a good feeling to have, and especially since it was so needed to have it here, and we look to see great things happening, you know, with your office, and once you're up and in your permanent area, like you said, you're going to be. The public will know a little bit more.
I think they're going to know. Yeah, I mean, it's been
what's going on.
You know, this show, of course, and there's been other announcements about it. The Chronicle has covered it pretty well. I think, but as time goes on, it's going to be a lot of word of mouth.
Yes. Oh yeah. And we're hoping that as when people see this, that like you say, one person will tell one person, another person will tell her, and they'll know that it's actually real and it's here, because we've been hearing about the public defender coming for a while, and we know the fight that you all that you all had, you know, to get it here.
Correct.
And now that it's here, it's a reality.
It is.
So now we need to just get out there and just tell people. So we were excited about having you on the show because we just wanted to be a part of letting somebody know that you were here. So
you.
we can say that, well, we at least helped a little bit.
You did.
We want to tell somebody that that the public defender is here, and it's going to be a good work for Harris County.
I'm sorry. One of the things that I wanted to say is I'm glad that you guys are independent because there's a lot of mistrust of the government, if you will,
Right.
Especially the court systems,
Right.
you know, and the jury pool, and I can go on and on. But that mistrust leads to bad things. And as you know, if you don't have the trust of the people, then they're not going to use your office.
Right.
So I'm glad it's here that you're going to have a separate website and you're going to be independent and nobody can influence you. Are you appointed as in every 4 years, or are you appointed, how does that work?
I'm at the will of the Harris County Commissioners Court.
Okay.
They could replace me, but again, they rely on the recommendations of my board. Reverend Nash is one of those persons on my board, and so you know there's a number of independent persons like
we're
him.
in trouble now.
Yeah. And so it's not going to be done by whim. They're gonna hear from the board, and
Right.
they're not going to just take it of themselves. I think you know, I happened to see County Judge Emmett in Austin yesterday, and he says, "Have you been here a month?" I said, "No, Judge, it's been 3 months now." He says, "Well, it must be going well because I haven't heard anything bad." So I think, you know, no news is good news,
Yes.
apparently. So.
Well, that's good. You're pastor. I'm excited. I'm really excited and proud because this is the pastor of my church, and he happens to be on that board. So
Yes.
that makes all of our congregation, you know, very happy that he's one of the members that
You know,
sit on that board. And
I also want
that's
to,
exciting to us.
Yeah, I want to make note also that the Houston Medicine Against Crime,
Yes.
I think I can speak for them on this, were very instrumental in helping to get the public defender's office
Exactly.
started. And I don't want to take it as that. I want the public to know that we didn't do it solely on our own, but we wanted the catalyst and to help get it into place. And again, I want to let Mr. Bunning know how proud we are of him. The public, I think, will really, once they know more about the office, then they know how far to go. He's not just an attorney that's going to call and say, "Can I get a lawyer?" So he's explaining that to us, and I think it's important that the public know his job, his operation, and just what it means to this county. God knows we needed a public defender, and I thank God that we got a good man.
Thank you.
Good. Now, before we go, I would like for, we'll start with you, Mr. Mendez. Would you just tell us how people can get in touch with you before we leave the air? And then we'll have Mr. Bunning close us out by telling us how where the Public Defender's Office is.
You can reach us at www.nhpo.us. All our contact information is there. We'd be happy to hear from you.
Okay. Mr. Bunning?
We're at 1310 Prairie, Suite 980, and our phone number, our general phone number is 713-368-0016.
And Pastor Nash, we're going to let you tell us about Sunnyside Place CDC.
Well, we represent Sunnyside Police, CDC, and community development, and we do a lot of active stuff in the community. And one of the things we do, we look at the court system and the fairness, the injustices. We kind of just stay